In Ohio, we caught teachers rebranding critical race theory. CRT was getting too much heat from parents and the press, so they lied. And they said they weren't teaching it anymore, but the school officials were caught on hidden camera, admitting that they've been secretly teaching CRT and laughing about it. A nonprofit group, Accuracy in Media, sent their people deep undercover to find out what's going on in these schools. They sent the videos to Primetime exclusively. And what we're about to show you is sinister.
There's more than one way to skin a cat. Ha! So whether you can pass a bill that you can't teach CRT in a classroom, but if you didn't cover programming, or you didn't cover extracurricular activities or something like that, that message might still get out. Oops.
Oops. I just told your white son he's racist. Oops. I just told your black daughter she's worthless without reparations. This underground agenda is being spread in schools all across Ohio and probably the whole country.
But if they ban that, can't we just change the labels and do it? That's what people will do, right?
Yeah, and it's good stuff. It's just, you know, I mean, labels are just getting attacked.
Well, it goes back to how you dress the window. You can do a lot of shopping without anybody even knowing you're shopping.
Yes.
There's all sorts of ways around it. You just have to be very careful how you phrase whatever you're going to say.
CRT's everywhere. It's been camouflaged. This footage is behind enemy lines. They use code words.
Are you able to talk about social justice or anti-racism?
So we do move forward with that. We do, and
Love
so
that.
I would say that's where we feel pretty confident. You know, we as the superintendent, I do choose words wisely though to make sure that we're able to move forward and don't want to be stopped at the most important word that
Yes.
That's why belonging is really that key word that we focus on.
Belonging and inclusion is a way to talk about social justice without raising a red flag, I guess, or?
Belonging. He called secretly teaching kids CRT the most important work we're doing, quote unquote. There's a subversion campaign all around us. Principals are going to great lengths to make children hate themselves and hate the country. And they'll do whatever it takes.
Even if they did that CRT ban thing locally, they'd be like, not for us.
There's enough for us to not call it that.
Should I be able to stay in my position if this law does go through, heaven forbid, then we will be just as covert in our wording of our. As long as I'm in the seat and don't lose my job over it.
If you have to. Yeah. It's unfortunate, but
just
if you
change the name, same thing.
We'll find a way.
And they have an action plan for parents who ask questions. You know, parents who actually care about their kids' education. And the plan is this: lie to their face and slow walk it until it's sunk in and it's too late to stop.
They're not going to be supportive if I lay out everything we're going to do. But if I talk to them about doing this one thing in the name of supporting students, they probably won't have an issue with this one thing. And by the time we get that thing established, if I start talking to them about this one other thing, they don't realize that was two things. Is our parents saying that privilege is a controversial topic? Probably, but don't get me wrong, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
Yeah.
I mean, that will probably get discussed in 17 classrooms before somebody actually brings it in here, and then we'll deal with it.
And if they can't hide it from the parents, they'll just trick them.
We have some parents that, you know, they don't fully understand. So, you know, it's when we trick them, you know.
What do you mean?
But, well, similar situation. So if we have a certain content that we want to share with students, and they see one word in the language, it's like, oh no, we can't do that. Well, let's look at it from a different, viewpoint, and then they're okay.
And if the media, like us, start asking questions, lie to them too.
We kept getting these emails, do you have critical race theory in your curriculum, which was what the talking point was from a certain news channel. So we got to the point where first we're going to ask you, what do you mean by critical race theory?
Do you think we're teaching higher education, grad school stuff to your second grader?
And then the second thing is, no, we don't have that in our curriculum.
The only reason we know about this is because it was caught on camera. It could be happening anywhere, probably is. These teachers are taking CRT courses in college, and they graduate, and then they get jobs at your kid's public school, and then they tell your child they should be ashamed of themselves. Tell your child America was never great, and tell them they don't deserve a thing because, you know, the color of their skin. And everybody owes somebody something. And then they divide the class into victims and victimizers. Pump your son's brain full of self-doubt, make your daughter angry and entitled, and have them walking around with a chip on their shoulder or walking around afraid to speak up. They want to divide and conquer the country so they can control you by guilt and move money around and shut you up so they don't have to earn anything. White guilt by association. That's how to destroy the country. And that's why we need strong leaders in all 50 states, keeping an eye out. It takes a strong backbone. Adam Guillette is the president of Accuracy in Media. His investigation exposed those teachers hiding what they're doing in these schools. How surprised were you when you saw that tape?
You know, not very much, because at this point, I've been in over 150 school districts across the country, and we saw the same thing again and again and again. And we didn't go to Berkeley, California, or Boulder, Colorado. We went to red states like Florida, and we find the same social justice, critical race theory everywhere we go.
Did they discuss why they're trying to push this propaganda on kids?
Absolutely, and I'll tell you, these aren't one-dimensional villains. They mean well. They're happy to break the law because they think it's in the best interest of every child to learn about social justice and systemic racism and how capitalism is inherently racist. They mean well by those kids. But obviously, what they view as best for those kids is probably dramatically different from what their parents view as best for their child.
They really should not be hiding this from parents. Do parents find out about this, or because some of these code words and the way they spin it, I mean, even I wouldn't know, and I'm pretty suspicious.
Oh, I've heard dozens of them. Instead of talking about privilege, they now call it circumstance. They started teaching social and emotional learning as a Trojan horse for critical race theory in math classes. And in some states, when parents caught on to that, they started calling that something else. It's an endless game of whack-a-mole, and these pros are always going to stay one step ahead of the parents.
Are we going to do anything about these wacky school officials that you caught on tape? Are any of them being suspended?
I don't know. You know, some of them might be, but they'll probably be replaced by somebody just like them, only wise enough to keep their mouth shut and not tell anybody what they're up to. You know, they passed these laws that ban CRT, and they're not worth the paper they're printed on. These radicals don't care about the law. They tell us that they're, quote, happy to close the door and teach whatever they want and do what's right. The law means nothing to them. The only solution is school choice where the money follows the child. That's the only way to get rid of this problem.
And if it's happening in Ohio, it's probably happening everywhere. Do you have any advice for concerned parents about how to deal with something like this? What code words to look out for, how to address this with school officials?
Well, I'll tell you, you know, it doesn't sound optimistic, but the first thing I'd say would be get your kid the heck out of traditional public schools. I was in a 3-to-1 Republican to Democrat county in rural Tennessee and had an administrator brag about how progressive their curriculum was from an equity point of view. That's how bad it is. And most districts around the country now have full-time equity officers. These are highly paid, non-classroom positions focused exclusively on pushing critical race theory into the classes. We have them in my state of Florida. They have them everywhere. I don't think public education can be saved.
If your school has an equity officer, change the school and go somewhere else. And next parent-teacher conference, bring a lie detector. I think hook them up. Hook them right up. Great job, Accuracy in Media. And if you want to learn more out there, go to Accuracy in Media's website, and you can find out all about it and the names of these teachers in case you want to hold them accountable administratively. Thank you so much. Great job.
Thank you for having me.